Hello traders and investors, welcome back to the Trend Trader channel. In today's video, I would like to take you to some of the companies that we have been buying from the US, either from the New York Security Exchange or from Nasdaq, but most of the setups, they come from the New York Security Exchange. As far as we are concerned, the tech sector is still weak. We are not finding opportunities, so we are not looking at tech companies, but as soon as we see some proper setups, then we will start buying some companies within the tech sector. The company that I want to talk about today mostly is Merck. We know that Merck is a pharmaceutical company, or it's a healthcare company. We recently added this position onto our portfolio. There are a couple of things that are interesting regarding this company, even though whenever we make a buy or sell decision, it is based on technical analysis. It is not based on fundamental analysis. But for the purpose of the people that are interested in fundamental analysis, we'll go through a bit of fundamental analysis. But you need to keep in mind that our buy and sell decisions are based on technical analysis, and they will always be based on technical analysis alone. So if you look at some of the information here, we can already see that Merck has a 3% dividend yield, meaning that if you buy this company, you can expect to receive a dividend whenever this company pays a dividend. The annual dividend for the past 12 months has been about $2.76 there, and the current share price of the stock, it's about 90 something rand per share. We will see the price as soon, the share price of the stock. And another thing that is interesting, we can see that earnings per share, when you compare quarter on quarter, they are up by 57.2%. That is interesting. It shows that the company is making money for shareholders there. We can see the return on equity, it's about 38.30% there, which is another impressive figure. The current share price is $92.32 there. As we said, that it's a US company, so it is priced in US dollars. If you look at the performance year to date, we know that the market has been hot, but this stock has managed to rise by 20.46%, which is impressive. If you look at the previous quarter one of 2022, we can see that the stock is up by 20.73% there. Which is good. So now that we have an idea of what is happening, the company recently announced the first quarter result of 2022. There are some few things that I would like to highlight from those results. So we can see that the earnings per share from continuing operations, they were $1.70, which is an increase of that 57% that we have mentioned there. But there is more information to this that they have mentioned on their quarter one result. But our interest in this case is just the earnings per share. We can see that the earnings, they increased by 57% when we compare them with the first quarter of 2021. At that time, the earnings per share was $1.08, and then now it's $1.70, which represent a 57% increase. So now that we know a bit about this company, let's look at the chart, which is the main important thing. The ticker for Merck is MRK. So then you will see that it's called Merck & Company. It's a New York Security Exchange company there. If you're using TradingView, on the right hand side, you can just pull up this banner. It will quickly give you bits and pieces of information regarding the company. You can already read the share price on the chart itself, but you can also get the share price here, which is $92.32. We can see that yesterday the stock was up by 2.1%. It increased by about $1.90. And then we can see the market cap of 233 billion there. The market cap doesn't really say a lot. We can also see the dividend yield. Remember, the dividend yield, it changes with the price. The dividend that have been paid is fixed, but the share price changes every day, which is why whenever you check the dividend yield, it's always going to fluctuate. Then from here we can see all the green dot, it's the earnings that they have reported, the actual earnings, not the estimate. The estimate in gray. We can see that the earnings are increasing, which is good. It means that shareholders are being rewarded by this company. You can also see the revenue in blue, that the revenue is growing, even though in the last quarter it dipped a bit. Here it's an annual result, but when you look at the quarterly result, you can then see that the revenue is accelerating nicely. The profit margin is all over the show. At some point it's up, it's down, and then now it seems like it is constant somewhere at around 26%. And then you can also see the net income, it's moving, is fluctuating a lot on a quarter to quarter, on a quarterly basis. But if you look at the annual result, then you can see that everything is growing up nicely there. You should never pay attention to those analysis rating or analyst rating. And then here you can find the profile of the organization. You can see the website of which that is where we found this financial result, the quarter one result, and then a brief description of what the business does. We can see that Merck, they are in medicine, vaccines, biologic therapies, animal health, and consumer care product. And then they have different platforms. It's pharmaceutical, animal health, and other. Then they describe each segment there. So if you're interested in that information, you can always find it on the right hand side on TradingView, if you're using TradingView for charting, or else you can just find the information on the company website itself. So the reason why we are attracted to Merck, we noted that Merck has been trying to break above this level here. So we're patiently waiting for Merck to start trading above this level here. As you can see, it's a multi-year range going all the way back to 2020. While other companies were busy growing up, making investors money, this company has been trading sideways in the range. So we're waiting for this range breakout, of which we got last week with a decent amount of volume there. That is when we started to buy Merck shares. The beginning of this week, you can see this Merck is busy, is trying to push all the way up, but we're going to wait for the weekly close. If you look at the time frame, this is a weekly chart, so each bar represent 1 week of information, but at this moment this is a range breakout. We are expecting Merck to continue to go up at least to about $110. It's not a price prediction of where the stock is going to go. Like we said that this was a breakout there. The breakout happened last week, so we bought the stock, and then we have about our stop loss somewhere here, which represent about 10% if the share price break lower. Remember, we always have an alternative in case the share price it comes back. If it retests, then you can buy more of the shares if it does a retest. But if there is no retest in the share price, it comes back here and then it breaks below this previous resistance level, then there won't be a need for us to continue to hold this position. But as things stands, we do have a long position on our eToro account, and so far that position is on profit. So we expect the share price to continue to go up. Otherwise, we will exit if the price starts to trade below $82.50 there. So we are happy with this holding. Once again, we mentioned that it's been trading on the range, and then it's a multi-year breakout there. So we expect the share price to continue to push further up, right? Then the other company that we're interested in, that we bought recently, is British American Tobacco, but we didn't buy British American Tobacco here in South Africa or in the JSE. We bought it in the US exchange. As you can see here, the price is priced in US dollars as well. What we're looking for, we're waiting for the price to break above this trend line. It's not a perfect trend line, but you can see that last week volume was high. It was a reversal from this when the price was pulling back. Note that this high is higher than the previous high. We've mentioned in the past that characteristics of an uptrend, it's higher highs and lower highs. So you can see this lower high is higher than this high there, this low here. So that tells us that there's an uptrend that is happening there. Then what you can expect to see, you can expect a BTI to push all the way to just above $45 per share there, to see if it does trade above this level. And then what we can expect from there is that the share price is going to break above this $46 level, meaning that you can start to expect the share price to continue to trade high. There are so many tradable levels. For now, we just want to see the share price breaking above this $46 region. But you also note that these are other potential tradable levels there, as we expect these days that they can act a bit of resistance levels there. So it's a position that we recently added following this trend reversal there with a decent amount of volume. All this decision, like we said, it's based on technical analysis. It's something that we've been using for a number of years now. We are happy with the result that we are getting from the market from the use of technical analysis. Even if you are in South Africa, you can buy a British American Tobacco. We know that this company, it pays quarterly dividends, and a lot of investors appreciate those dividends or those quarterly dividends. And then another company that we recently bought is F.I.R.E. So we'll have to get a brief description of what F.I.R.E. does. We don't really know what it does, and we don't really care much because that does not give us an edge in the market. What gives us an edge in the market is our ability to manage risk and to manage the money that we have in our portfolio. So F.I.R.E., it's discussed. You can go to their website there. They say that it's a firm that engages in the provision of engineering, procurement, construction, fabrication, and a whole lot of things. So it's an engineering company that participates in the segment of energy and chemicals. We've said in the past that the energy sector is in a bull market, and some companies, chemical companies, we saw with the shortage of fertilizer, some chemical companies are also benefiting there. So they have their own bull market that is happening. In South Africa, the mining sector is no longer that interesting. We released a video where we're talking about Sibanye, to say that Sibanye was going a bit low, so we don't have a position on Sibanye yet. We are sitting on the side, but we saw cracks in other mining companies like Anglo Gold, Ashanti. We saw African Rainbow, not African Rainbow Capital, African Rainbow Mineral. We saw it pulled back. It started to give those profit, but that is just in the South African context. Outside South Africa, other mining companies are doing well, and one of those companies is F.I.R.E. So that is the reason why we have our attention here on F.I.R.E. As you can see here, this level previously, it was a support level that was broken somewhere around September 2019. I almost said 19, so it was around September 2019 when that level was broken down. Since then, it has been acting as a resistance level. As you can see that the price attempted to break there around between February or March and May 2021, and then once again at the beginning of 2022 it attempted to break above that level, and then it succeeded somewhere here around March 2022, and that is when we started to buy a position on F.I.R.E. on this big volume there, on this big candle there. And then as you can see that it was accompanied by that large amount of volume. Then we started to have that position there, and then as you can see this position, what happened is that the share price break above this level, and then it came back to retest the breakout level. Instead of turning somewhere at the top of the resistance level, it undercut that level then before it started to turn. So now that it is turning once again, that is when we're starting to add again onto our existing position. As you can see, the share price is just above the top of this resistance level, and we saw last week that it did so. It pushed higher with a decent amount of volume, which is above that average volume that did catch our attention. Then we added onto this position as well. So what we're expecting to achieve with this position, first we want to see the share price breaking above that $32 level there, and then continue to push all the way up. But there are so many levels here that we are keeping in mind. Somewhere it's around $32, and then somewhere around between $40 and $42 there. But then again, we also expect the share price, as long as the energy sector remains strong, then we expect this company to continue to perform well, to be able to ride the success of those energy companies. Okay, so that's another company that we recently added there. And then we also have a car company, or a company that is involved in the automotive sector. We added this PAG. It's an automotive group there. Let's see how they describe that company there. They say that it operates as an international transportation services company, and then it engages in the distribution of commercial cars, diesel engines, gas engines, and different power systems there. Once again, knowing something about the company doesn't guarantee success in the market, because just because you know something doesn't mean that you are going to pick the right stuff. The reason for buying a PAG, you can see that the share price is nice. It's on an uptrend. It came back to retest this previous resistance level there. So at this breakout, we didn't have the stock, but you see that there was a pullback coming back to the previous resistance level, of which the share price it found support there. You can see for the last several weeks there have been a nice accumulation of these shares, meaning that buyers were kept on buying those shares even though the share price was pulling back. So that tells us that once the price starts to push further up because of this accumulation, we can then expect an explosive move on the upside. And then what we saw here is that once it found a support here, it came back to test this level. As you can see, last week it closed above this level after pushing all the way up from the support level. Well, it would have been wise to get a position somewhere around $90 with the stop just below this week there. Remember, you always want to place your stop where it won't be easily stop hunted, as it is called in the market. But if you missed this support bounce like we did, then we bought this breakout, and then you can have your stop loss at 10% below your entry price, or you can set your stop loss just on the low of the recent week there, in expecting that the share price is going to continue to push further up. This is another company that we have in our portfolio that we added recently. We're not saying that all these setups are going to succeed. Remember, the general market, the S&P 500 and Nasdaq are busy facing down. So for that reason, whenever we buy something, we are cautious. As you can see that the tech sector, which tracks most of the tech companies, is currently weak. We noted that these were the levels here, so we wanted to see the share not the share price, the price of Nasdaq, or we wanted to see Nasdaq finding support so that it can have signs of going up. What we see here, we see it's something that looks like a setup like this, meaning that the lower prices were rejected, but we are going to see the close of this week. If this week undercut the previous week's low, chances are Nasdaq is going to continue to go up, but that is the worst case scenario. Ideally, we would like to see Nasdaq continue to trade higher there, because then we're going to start to see some positive setups in the technology sector. But as things stand, we don't have position in the tech sector. And then when you look at S&P 500, which is SPX, we also see a similar image there. We can see that the price of SPX is coming back to these levels there. Once again, if there is no support there, the potential scenarios that it is going to continue to be lower. This is going to be bad, because this tracks the top 500 companies in the Standard & Poor, and some of the companies that we are buying are part of the S&P 500. So if the heavy hitters in the New York Security Exchange or in Nasdaq are not performing well, then we can expect the S&P 500 to go lower. So we don't know how the US is going to react to this, or what the Fed is doing to protect its economy and everything, because now this can potentially affect the price of this futures market, right? And then one company that we already have a position, but it's on a watch list because we are waiting for a breakout. By saying that we are waiting for a breakout, it means that we want to see that if the share price breaks above 176, we add onto our existing position. We already have a position. You can see that the share price is nicely going there, up on an uptrend. So we're just waiting for the share price to break above this 176 level. Then that is when we are going to add onto this position. As you can see, all the companies that we are buying, it's expensive companies. By expensive, we mean that the share price is going up. We are not buying companies that the share price is falling. We are not searching for bargains. At all times, we are comfortable with buying companies that are trading at a premium, and it is the same story with these companies. So that's it. These are all the companies that I wanted to share with you today. Remember, we started by covering Merck. You can find in the Merck result from the Merck website. This is the company that we touched a bit. One thing that attracted us to this company is this gap earnings, which are up by 57%, which is interesting there because we are happy that we are going to make money from the company. And then we covered PTI, F.I.R.E, PAG, and Pepsi company, and then we touched a bit on S&P500 and Nasdaq. Remember, we've got timestamps. If there's a company that you're interested in, you can just click on the timestamp so that you can go straight to a particular analysis that you're interested in. And if you have any company that you would like us to cover, just make sure that you leave the name of that company in the comment sections. Then we'll try to make a video covering the company that you're interested in. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, we would like to ask you that you consider subscribing. And if you found this video information, please click like, and also we'll appreciate it if you can share this video with your circle so that you can assist other investors to make an informed decision. That's it for today. We will see you in the next video.